Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Boliye Sharmaji. And if you are new to this channel, please do hit that subscribe button in order to stay connected with my journey within United States and to see all the awesome content that I'm producing. So finally, I'm back with my fourth episode of the series called as Blue Skies Ahead and Dream Big. And in this episode, I have a very amazing person that I was looking forward to interview. And, I really don't want to waste further time. So please welcome Manav Kedia. Manav did his bachelor's from IIT Kharagpur back in India. And then he came to US to pursue his master's in computer science from UIUC. And then he's working as a senior software engineer with Facebook right now. So without wasting any further time, Manav, would you like to quickly introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, thank you, Saurav. So, hi everyone, my name is Manav Kedia, and I'm currently a software engineer at Facebook. So, I started my journey back in Kolkata, where I'm from. I've been born and brought up in Kolkata, and I did my schooling over there. I also did my tuitions from back in Kolkata. After that, I was fortunate enough to get into IIT Kharagpur. So I started with IIT Kharagpur. I got in as aerospace engineering into IIT Kharagpur. And then after the first year, I was able to change my stream to computer science. And then I pursued a bachelor's in computer science from IIT Kharagpur. And then after that, I came to the US to do master's in computer science. So I studied at UIUC for 1.5 years, did my master's and thesis from UIUC. During this time, I also interned at Facebook, and then I was able to convert the internship offer into a full-time position and have been working with Facebook since. So I've been working with Facebook for almost 4 years now, and it's been an exciting 4 years that I've spent here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Manav, for the introduction. So let's move on to the next question. Many of the students back in India, they have offer, and Manav, you also had a very good job from Goldman Sachs. And it was offering you some 21 lakhs, right? So still you left that job and you came to pursue your master's. So what was your motivation to do master's, and why did you specifically choose UIUC for your course of study?
Yeah, so my motivation for master's, there was two main motivations. So one was I really enjoyed the field of computer science. So I wanted to explore more and do more studies. Particularly at that time, I was doing my bachelor's thesis in machine learning, and I wanted to do more research in that field and see what other opportunities I have over there. I was also unsure if I wanted to do a PhD. So I felt like doing a master's will give me more clarity on whether I want to pursue a PhD or not in my future. So that was one strong motivation, academic motivation. I think the other motivation was also in terms of opportunities. I think everyone knows that there are very big companies in the US, and there are so many opportunities, and a lot of bright, intelligent people are here. So I also wanted to be able to come here and experience that working culture, where I am working with the best minds in the industry and really at the center of where everything is happening. So both these motivations drove me to apply for a master's. For the point of why choosing UIUC, so I think similar to what most people do or will be doing is sorting out the list of colleges based on rank from some standard websites, and categorizing universities based on what is ambitious, what is achievable, what is safe for them. So I also did a similar exercise and came up with a list of colleges. So I found that UIUC was on the border of ambitious and what was achievable. And in addition, I was also getting a teaching assistantship from UIUC, which would mean that my master's would have been basically paid for entirely. So that was another strong motivation, because being from India, from a modest family, finances are often a very strong factor in deciding where people go. So given that education was basically free for me, and the college was also an ambitious college for me, I think overall it happened to work out very great for me.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really good. And I know, finances are probably one of the most important things. That was also a factor for me. So that makes sense. All right, let's move on to the next question. So, the next most interesting question that I get a lot of asked from my juniors too around internships, because internships are actually the first means of a student to get, industry level exposure. And I believe you also had like done quite a lot of internships. So can you share your journey about, your internships, and how did you manage to get those internships, which can help the students too?
Yeah, of course. So I think like I have had like a diverse set of internship experiences. So like back in my undergrad, when I was doing my bachelor's, so I started doing an internship from the second year itself. And I did an internship in the second year, at the end of second year, at the end of third year, at the end of fourth year. And then after I came to UIUC, also like the internships have been like different. Like one was like an academic internship, one was like a foreign internship, one was like industrial experience, one was like a startup internship also. So I think I can share some like background on how I got some of these internships and what I learned from them as well. So let's start like chronologically. So at the end of my second year, I interned at ETH Zurich. So that's a university in Zurich, Switzerland. And I think in second year, everyone is like trying to get an internship, and everyone is like, how do I apply? Like, where do I go? And I think it's a big craze. And like the thing is like at the end of second year, people haven't learned enough to really like meaningfully apply for an internship. Like they have learned some skills, but they are still like in the process of like learning more, right? I think the key there is to be a little persistent. Like I applied to a lot of like universities outside, and I was mailing professors. I was reading up about the work that they do, and like trying to see if I can like relate to the work that they have done and say if I have any expertise in that area. So, but I think it's a game of like just like trying to message a lot of professors, but having meaningful messages. Like if you just apply to every professor that you can see and without having a personalized touch to it, then it just goes directly to the spam folder. Yeah. So like while you're applying, try to have a little bit of homework done in the professor and university that you're applying. And it's okay to not get a response from them back. But like in case some cases it can work out and you might land a nice foreign internship, in which case like you'll really enjoy the internship as well as like the traveling experience over there. So the other option that some people do in the second year also is like go for unpaid internships. I think that is also like a very valuable experience. Like you get to add an internship onto your resume, even though you're not paid for it, but that experience counts a lot when you're sitting for your third year internships and in the future as well. Moving on to the third year, I think third year is in where most colleges in India, like they officially have like an internship season for third year students. Mm-hmm. So you can go through the college placement and committee where you can sit for an internship. So similarly, like I also went for like that route and sat for internships, and I was able to get an internship at Adobe. So I think most people know about Adobe. It's a big company, and it was a research internship in Adobe. So unlike software engineering roles where you would work on building some platform or some software, we were doing like very research heavy work. So we would try to read about research papers and try to come up with projects that have not been done. So we published a paper, and I also got a patent from Adobe out of that internship. Nice. So that was a very different experience, again, like diverse experience, and also valuable because it added a lot to my MS career. One of the reasons why I also chose Adobe for going for an internship was because it would help to build my like resume for applying for a master's internship, so that I can show that I have done research and at a place like Adobe that has like good research facilities. Moving on to the fourth year, I think fourth year is when people graduate. So technically, I mean, it should have been like a job, but because I had some time between my master's and end of fourth year, and I was at home and I was very bored, so I decided to do like an internship. And at the last minute, like I was able to get an internship at a startup called Code Nation. So I think it was a different experience because it was a startup, first of all. So people were very like open, friendly, like all the startup culture that you generally see in movies and you've heard about, all of that existed. There was like food every day, games that people played. So it was, but it was also very good learning experience. Like because it was also a startup, there was also like some very bright people that like helped me learn a lot of things. Like you don't have like the standard things that you would have in a company, right? So you also have to build some of the basic things that you would expect companies to have, but it's not there. So you get to take more ownership and so on. And then finally, like after I came to US and did my master's, I did an internship at Facebook. So I applied through career fair. I think people that do a master's here know what a career fair is. Yeah. There is no standard like placement season or anything in the US. But like there is more like a career fair where companies come in, they tell you about the company, and you tell them about yourselves. So it's a very different experience. And like companies are also trying to sell themselves to you, unlike India, where like it's like a rat race and everyone is trying to like get to the company, and like companies don't have companies have leverage over there. But over here, like you have the leverage and you can choose where you want to go and apply. So I was able to like attend the career fair and like shared my resume and then had an interview and then finally got in. And like I would definitely say like the Facebook internship was my best internship experience. Like one is like Facebook is a very like has been my dream company to work at, and being over there gave me a very strong like learning experience and overall like great people to work at. So yeah.
Okay. All right. That's really great. So let's move on to the next question. All right. So, moving on to a next interesting question. You mentioned about working at a startup too. And, the general trend that I have seen within, CS grads specifically, that there's a specific craze around working with FAANG companies, basically. And also, people are confused with, working with startups in Silicon Valley. So do you have any point of view around that? Like typically what people prefer, and what would you have preferred, and what was your thought process around that?
Yeah. So I also had an internship offer from like another startup in the US, like before Facebook. But then I realized like a couple of things that helped me like make a decision where I want to work at, whether it is like FAANG or whether it is startup. So generally, like I've seen that FAANG companies have a higher compensation than like startup. So for me, like that was something which was important to make a decision, and like that helped me like make a decision. The other thing that I also like wanted to experience was like working in an industry like that is really big. So like FAANG companies are like really big. They have a lot of different areas and opportunities to work on. So I really wanted to experience that full blown like industry experience of working at a big tech company and seeing like how it is like. So for me at that stage, when I was just graduating out of college, like I was a little scared to like experiment with the startup, whether like how that startup is, and I wanted some stability in my life. So I decided to work or like join Facebook and see like how my experience at working at Facebook is. And then if I don't like it, or if I have like if I want to change, I can always like do that. But I wanted to start off with something that is more stable and can give me more exposure and opportunities.
Got it. Yeah, that perfectly makes sense. So let's move on to the next question. And this is probably another important question that has been asked a lot by the juniors, and even people are in general interested to know about the salaries. So as a software engineer working in a FAANG company, do you want to like highlight a couple of points around the salaries, how it is distributed, and in general, what the pay is all about?
Yeah, sure. So generally, like for a for the FAANG companies, and in general, like most tech companies, you have like different components of a salary. So there is a base salary, which is what you're paid every month. There is a bonus, which like, and again, it's like a signing bonus as well as like a performance bonus. Yeah. And then there is like a stock options. So you get like stocks of the company that you're working for. So these are three different components of the salary. And these components also like vary and change as you like grow within a company. So as a new grad, whenever you join a company, you will be joining as an entry level engineer. And then like if you spend some time within that company and you grow and you get promoted, so you start like becoming more and more senior within the company. And all these three components also start changing as you like become more senior. But typically, like for a new grad, like working in like the FAANG companies or like the big tech companies, like you can expect to see somewhere between like 100,000 to 150,000 in terms of like your starting salary. And then like as you grow more senior, like it starts going higher and higher. So like 200K, 300K, these are not very unheard of numbers in the Silicon Valley. Yeah. So like definitely like depending on like how good you are and how fast you grow, like people even make like 500K, like for example, in the Silicon Valley.
That's certainly a valid point. And also it depends on the geography too. So like, for example, a software engineer working in, let's say I'm in Atlanta and you are in California. So definitely there will be a huge difference because, the place is different, the kharchas are different, all that stuff. So it's definitely a disputed / a topic which, people have made a lot of videos. So let's not get into that. But usually it's like, working in a big company and earning like 2 crores. It's true. But again, like Mara mentioned, there are like several different components to that. So, but yeah, let's move on to the next question. the conversation has been going good, and this is probably one of the last questions, and again an important one to all the current CS grads that I have seen. So as a person who has been in the same shoes in the past, how would you recommend a person who is currently in college to build their profile, and what will be like a couple of resources that helped you and that you would like to recommend to all the future students and also the current prospective students as well?
Yeah, of course. So in terms of like building your profile, like there are several things that as a software engineer you would need to like work on. So one is definitely like cracking the interview, right? Like most interviews, they ask you like typical coding questions. So in order for you to practice that, there are like several resources available, like Geeks for Geeks, Code Chef, Code Forces. There is Lead Code. So these are like the typical platforms that people go to practice these interview questions. I also went through like lots of them, and like you would also likely need to use one of these resources in some form or the other. But that helps you to build a strong like interview preparation. Beyond this, like interviews also ask for like some design questions. So you also need to go over like some system design like resources. Again, like these websites also have those resources. And however, like interview is only one part of it, right? Like for you to succeed in these companies, you also need to have a strong like software engineering fundamentals. So for that, like what I would say is like take part in hackathons. Like hackathons are very like all colleges have like opportunities for hackathons. There are like external colleges that you can participate for hackathons. So take part in hackathons. That helps you to really like get together in 2 to 3 days and like build something meaningful. Like do more projects like course projects or like open source projects. Google Summer of Code is one very good source of like income as well as like source of like learning experience, where you can work on an open source project with a Google mentor or like someone who's appointed by Google as a mentor, and like gives you like experience of like software engineering and coding. So do build like your profile besides like just interview preparation, because otherwise like you will get into the company, but then you will not know how to code or like what to really do over there.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I think that was really insightful, and thank you so much, Manav, for taking time out of your busy schedule and talking to us and helping the students. I hope this was helpful. So if you have any comments or anything, please do leave that in the comment section. So, and additionally, I'll also put Manav's LinkedIn in the description, so that way you can connect with him and also check out his profile and his journey too. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining on this session, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you so much, everyone. I hope I was able to share something of value, and good luck for your like journeys and careers.
Thanks.